Here in Evergreen Memorial Cemetery, there are 4 official military burial sections, including the recently dedicated U.S. Army Ranger Sergeant Joshua P. Rogers Veterans Field to the east. In the Southwest Military section, which we will pass by shortly, you will find the final resting place of many African American soldiers who fought in 20th century conflicts. During World War I, more than 350,000 African American soldiers served in segregated units because racial policies in the United States during that time dictated that black and white soldiers could not serve together. African American soldiers from Bloomington were part of Company K of the all-black 370th United States Infantry. Previously, they were part of the 8th Illinois Volunteer Infantry, which was the first unit of black soldiers to be led entirely by black officers. The 370th was part of the 93rd Division, one of 2 all-black divisions of troops sent to fight in the war. In July 1917, the company left Bloomington for Peoria and several other training camps before finally arriving in France in April 1918. Upon arriving in France, the members of the 370th were issued French weapons, gas masks, helmets, and rations, having to relinquish the familiar American equipment with which they had trained. They only kept their American uniforms. 7 days later, they began training with French soldiers who sadly treated them much better than their American counterparts. Unlike black soldiers serving in the U.S., who were mainly assigned support positions, many black soldiers serving in France served on the front lines. For the next 8 months, the men fought nearly non-stop, facing gas attacks and artillery fire on the Western Front. We're now going to meet 2 brothers who experienced the Western Front firsthand. Brothers Edward and Lincoln Bynum were both born in Bloomington in 1895 and 1900, respectively. Edward and Lincoln were members of Company K of the 8th Illinois and then Machine Gun Company 3 when the unit was federalized as the 370th. Their regiment suffered a 20% casualty rate and took part in the final pursuit of the Germans on the day the armistice was signed, November 11, 1918. Numerous individuals received the Croix de Guerre, a French military decoration that was created during World War I to specifically recognize French and Allied soldiers for valorous action. After the war, black veterans were barred from joining white veterans organizations such as the American Legion. Locally, they organized their own post, the Red Williams Post number 163, named for 2 of their fallen comrades, John Red and Gus Williams. Edward held many offices in the post, including post commander. Lincoln served on several post committees as well. Edward, who primarily worked as a porter, managed the Bloomington Buffaloes, which was an all-black basketball team that played both black and white teams in the early 1920s. He married Bessie Thompson, who sadly died very young, and the couple had no children. Lincoln, who labored as a janitor and car washer, married Laura Clark, and they went on to have 2 daughters. Let's go listen in on a conversation between the brothers in the last days of the war near the French and Belgian border.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edward and Lincoln Bynum.
Ed, you awake? Hey, you ain't gone and died on me, have you?
Yeah, I'm awake. Awake now anyway. You should be sleeping your own self.
Can't.
How come?
I don't know. War being all but over, but here we are still fighting the Huns.
We ain't fighting them no more. They're running. With us pushing back as hard as we been, they ain't got no choice. Trust me, they gonna keep running till they get to Belgium. You heard any more shelling?
No? Think they'll make good and surrender like they say? Lieutenant Johnson said he got word coming from the top. Since they're supposed to sign tomorrow, peace treaty. Said it won't be long now before we all get to go home.
Well, I don't know. I don't suppose any of us will know till we're back home, stateside, settled in our own beds. Lord, that'd be nice.
Yes, sir. No, it will.
Think Pa will be there to greet us when we get back?
Hope so.
You think anybody else will?
How you mean?
I mean, you think they'll throw us a big parade? Anybody care about what we've been through, what we've done here?
I thought about it plenty.
What'd you come up with?
God's truth.
That's the only kind, brother.
I doubt much has changed.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I'm thinking you're right.
Heard what they saying about us back home at the Whispering Gallery?
Yeah, I heard it.
Ain't true.
Well, that's what makes it a rumor. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. The white commanding officers tell the newspapers back at home that the colored man is unfit for duty, that he's dirty and immoral. Well, the white folks back at home take it as gospel.
I ain't committed no crimes. I for sure ain't done the unmixable with none of these French women. Hell, the French treat us with more kindness than any white man ever done. And rank don't seem to matter none. You forget about Colonel Young.
Nope.
Veteran colored officer, graduate at West Point. Gave the best years of his life to the United States
And the
Regular
medical
Army.
board called him physically unfit to lead a regiment of color. I know you ain't got to remind
Colonel
me.
Young wasn't unfit. Colonel Young was probably in better fighting shape than you and I put together. No, it's because sending him to France would mean automatically promoting him to Brigadier General. And you know, President Wilson wasn't about to have no colored man as Brigadier General in his army. Man, we ain't worth the dirt off their boots, yet here we are fighting for a democracy that wants no part of us.
You want to know what one of those French mademoiselles said to me? We were near the front back in Verdun.
Called you a handsome black devil, I bet.
No, that's what Hans call us, that minus the handsome part.
Why do you suppose those Huns feel us the way they do? Color of our skin? You think they see us as savages?
Maybe so. I just think because we fight hard. We got a fierceness in us, we ain't afraid to die.
Oh, Ed. Now you know that ain't true. I sure ain't ready to die. What's funny?
I'm just thinking back to that time when the German planes were trying to locate us. They was dropping bombs all around us. You remember that?
Of course I do. What's funny
You
about
don't
it?
remember what you said?
I surely don't.
Man, the boys were making their way toward the dugout like nobody's business. And you stood up and said, "Hey, what y'all running for? If you scared, you ought to join the church."
I remember that, brother. I surely remember that.
Oh, man.
So what that French mademoiselle say to you?
Just that all the white officers are haughty and arrogant, and all the white enlisted men are rough and uncouth.
Well, a lot of the same words the Whispering Gallery be calling us. And worse.
Ain't nothing we can do to change that.
I suppose not. Don't stop it from bothering me, though. I do like the name the French officers have for us, though.
Patrie?
Partridges. Yes, sir. Know why?
Of course I know why, because we buff out our chests all full of pride. You know, maybe the Whispering Gallery's right. Maybe we're a bit haughty and arrogant ourselves, you think?
Yeah, but when the Whispering Gallery, when the French say it about us, they mean it again. Fine. They like us. They respect us. Man, I'd be lying if I say I never thought what it might be like if I just stayed put here.
You can do that?
Probably not. Don't stop me from thinking about it, though. Remember the riots in Houston right before we arrived here for training?
Yeah, I remember.
How many black guardsmen were court-martialed? How many were hanged? Nothing's changed and you know it. We going back to the same America we left.
You're smart, Lincoln. And I won't pretend to be any wiser. But I gotta believe that there's something better. You know what I mean? It may take our country a while. Hell, we might not ever see equality in our lifetime, but I gotta believe it'll happen someday.
What's that?
Just a poem that I wrote earlier this year. And I sent it to the Colored Women's Club in Bloomington. Don't know if I read it to you or not.
Go ahead, read it to me, man.
This is only the ending part of it. The cry is democracy. On land and overseas. We will fight in the trenches. On our hands and on our knees. The groans of our brothers as they die in the field. Sound the doom of the Kaiser.
That's good, Ed. That's
I'm not
good.
done yet. When the war is all over, when we're home with victory won, you would then hear the story of what the black men have done. We will salute Old Glory until our dying day as we ask and get all justice in this grand old USA.
Think we'll get that justice we deserve?
I do.
The honor, the respect.
I got hope. Hopes and dreams, my brother. As a matter of fact, that's what I was dreaming about before you woke me.
We're not.
Was too.
Liar. You're a poet, and poets never tell the truth the way it is. They fancy it up too much.
Maybe so. But I believe one day brother's gonna come along and give voice to that dream. I really do.
Hope you're right. Meantime, I'm gonna get a little sleep, huh? Why don't you keep watch a while, would you? Let me get a little blessed shut-eye.
African American soldiers welcomed the armistice and enjoyed the gratitude of the French who had treated them cordially. When the 370th returned to the United States in late February 1919, the brothers' father was indeed in Chicago to welcome his sons home. The parading 370th, led by its own jazz band, received a dazzling welcome from approximately 400,000 people who lined Michigan Avenue. Bloomington also welcomed the men home with an assembly of black troops at Wayman AME Church, a parade, and a public reception at the original Coliseum. Despite this warm welcome, the Bynums and other black soldiers who had fought for freedom and democracy still faced discrimination, and their service was often belittled by the American military.